I'm Edie, executive editor of Hub Culture, and into the studio has stepped Brett Girven. He's the principal at Arbor School here in Dubai, which is a really interesting, slightly different school. Wish I'd gone there. Tell me about it.
Good morning. And so the Arbor School is an interesting proposition, particularly in Dubai, because our focus is on sustainability as one of our pillars, and then something called Ecoliteracy, which is a little more complex, and environmental justice, understanding that there is human elements to all the decisions we take around sustainability, and then trying to make decisions that are just in the wider sense, not just what's in front of us.
So eco-literacy, what's that?
As a textbook definition, it's understanding fundamental ecological principles and using that knowledge to create sustainable human futures. In practice, it means trying to help children reconnect or connect with nature, continue that journey of curiosity, and then understanding that all systems are connected and interconnected, as they would be in nature. And if we can understand big challenges in that lens, then we can perhaps come up with the right solutions.
So how do you do that? How do you connect kids to nature?
It's certainly in Dubai, it's a challenge. So you've really got to make the effort. And I guess at the Arbor School, we've committed to that in spaces and places. So, for example, we have 6 climate-controlled biodomes, which are a slice of nature, if you like. We have outside mucky play areas, mud, sand, grass. We've got animals that wander around, and we look after carefully. And so our idea is that it's not trying to teach our children to be botanists or zoologists. It's saying for the littlest ones, let's help them connect, because they're not going to want to save nature until they care about nature. How do you get them to care about nature? You get them in nature. So it's about curiosity, connection, passion and purpose, and building that strategically through the school.
So talk to me about what happens in a biodome if you are, I don't know, a kindergartner versus a 3rd grader versus a 7th grader.
Oh, fabulous question. So, as I said, it's about curiosity. For the littlest ones, they're not going in there and trying to decipher photosynthesis, right? They're going in there and saying, you know, where's the mummies and daddies? What's the relationship between these things? How can we be kind to each other? Can we use nature to learn in or from or with? The older they get, you sort of start to level up the complexity. So we look at the pond and we say, okay, there's 5 terrapins in there. Could there be 50? What are the limits? What are the constraints? What are the boundaries? And then the older they get, again, you just keep looking at contextual questions. So could we measure photosynthetic rates in there? Or could we look at that pond again and say, well, what stops the animals? What are the adaptations that they have? If boundaries apply to this system, why can't we apply the same boundaries to a natural or non-natural system like battery farm chickens? How can we produce and slaughter 60 billion chickens, but we can only maintain 5 terrapins? What's changed? What's given? Where's the compromise?
And tell me about the food in the school and how that relates to the biodomes.
So as part of our biopark, which includes the biodomes and a biofarm, so we have an organic greenhouse, and that produces year-round a lot of green goodies. And so when we sort of had that attitude of producing organic, locally grown, plant-forward food, so rather than having a canteen provider, we then recruited a chef. And so she has the privilege of being able to harvest all of the goodies as they come available, and that goes straight into the food system. And again, it's not just serving great food, which is important. It's about connecting children with where their food came from and helping them to see through experience that there is a system. They can watch it be planted, they can watch it grow, they can help harvest, they can see it go into their food, they can see us sell it sometimes, and then also it goes back to the compost, so they experience the full system. Fantastic.
So what's next for the school?
I think rather than scale, let's just get right what we've got. So we're still growing as a school. We'll open our final stage next year, our year 12s or grade 11s if you're in the US system. So that's the sort of next step of the journey for Arbor, but it's really just trying to nail down that idea of place-based learning, knowing this place well, addressing questions and problems that sit well with children at their scale, and then trying to replicate that up across global challenges.
Amazing. What do you hope for your kids?
As much as I would love them to be an eco-warrior, equally I'd like them to go into the world and become an economist, but with a lens of ecological economics, or go and be a designer, but with a lens that's a little bit green, or go and be a politician, or wherever they want to go. But the mindset is that recycling is no longer something we celebrate, it's second nature. Switching off the lights isn't something we have to train anybody, because it just happens. That deeper mindset is what has to change, and then they take that into the world.
Brett, thanks so much for stopping by Hub Culture here at COP28. I'm Edie.